I read a letter by a prisoner on death row who was going to be executed in a week, and there were no appeals that were left, and he was just absolutely desperate, and explaining how he'd spent 12 years at that point on death row, and the conditions that were present, and that he had 2 daughters and no wife, and that he had educated hundreds of prisoners during his 12 years on death row. And that's when I first went to an actual prison to meet my client. It's considered bad practice for lawyers to visit their clients in prison in Pakistan. The conditions there and the sheer amount of people on death row, in that prison alone, there were hundreds. It was just kind of those moments in life when you know this is pretty much what you're going to do for the rest of your life, just trying to figure out how to solve this problem. We investigate, we litigate, we advocate, and we educate. We're a team of 23 people based out of Lahore in Pakistan. And we work on 3 thematic issues, which is we represent people facing the death penalty, we represent people who are victims of torture by the police, and we represent Pakistani detainees in the war on terror. There are many, many serious structural problems in our criminal justice system. And all of those structural problems enforce and directly feed into the amount of people on death row. Pakistan has a problem with the systemic use of torture by the police as an investigation method. There's a lot of mentally ill people on Pakistan's death row because there's a lack of understanding of mental illness amongst the stakeholders, and there's a lack of a mechanism to evaluate them, which leads to people suffering from severe mental illnesses being sentenced to death. Although Pakistan has signed the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and we've banned executions of juveniles, that does not take away the practical reality of the fact that, less than 24% of Pakistan's population is children are actually, their births are registered. So by the time they're processed through the criminal justice system, they actually have no identification on them. So just like anywhere in the world, if they're educated about it, their view tends to change very quickly. I find criminal justice to be a particularly unifying lens because I think that it just really shows you the common denominator across societies. When you hear Pakistan and you hear all these alarm bells go off, but not enough is said about the similarities that we share as human beings. I mean, the struggle of an indigent defendant in the Pakistani criminal justice system is almost identical to the struggles of an American in the criminal justice system, if they happen to be from an indigent background. And, the opponents of that struggle, or the villains in that struggle, are pretty universal too, actually much more closely connected together. And one of the brilliant things about Pakistan is that as quickly as things can go bad, you can really, there is space to change things that quickly as well. We have a long way to go, but I think we can go further.